So, how do you measure the power of an idea? I mean, really measure it. For university, that question is absolutely everything. Today, we're going on a data-driven journey to see how one institution is using numbers to chart its course from a regional powerhouse to a true global player.
Think about it for a second. When you hear that a university is successful, what does that even mean? Are we talking about the size of its campus, the number of students it enrolls, or is it something a little harder to see, but way more powerful, like the impact its research has all around the world? That's the big question we're digging into.
Now, to answer a question not big, you need the right tool. And in the world of academic research, that tool is called bibliometrics. I know, it sounds a little complicated, but the idea behind it is actually pretty simple. It's the science of measuring publications and citations. Just think of it like a health checkup for a university's research, telling us how healthy and influential its work really is.
All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll meet the university we're focusing on, UMS. Then, we're going to dive deep into the data, figure out its strengths and weaknesses, and see if we can find a blueprint for growth.
So let's meet our case study. Universitas Muhammadiyah Surakarta, or UMS for short. It's one of Indonesia's top private universities. And like a lot of really strong regional schools, UMS is a buzzing hub of ideas. But it's facing a classic challenge. How do you take all that amazing research and make sure the entire world knows about it?
So how do we track that journey? Well, we look at the data. We're going to comb through almost 2 decades of scientific output from UNS, all the way from 2004 to 2022, to see what kind of story the numbers have to tell.
And the story really kicks off with this number, 1,389. That's how many research documents, we're talking articles, conference papers, the whole shebang, that UMS published in that time frame. It's a really solid foundation, but honestly, it's what happened next that gets truly wild.
Because what's even more impressive is the momentum. UMS had an annual growth rate of over 34% in its scientific output. That's not just steady growth, that is like hitting the accelerator hard. It tells us something really big was going on.
And that acceleration really kicked into high gear right around 2017. The data shows the super clear turning point, a moment when the university's research engine just exploded. So the big question is, what lit the fuse?
You can see the shift perfectly right here. Just look at that insane upward curve after 2017. Their publications absolutely took off, especially in what are called conference proceedings. And this wasn't some happy accident. It was clearly part of a strategic push by the university to get its research out there.
But where's all this impact coming from? Well, the data shows UMS is a powerhouse in fields like public health and engineering. Their work gets cited all the time on the global stage. But in other areas like social sciences and education, the international buzz is a bit quieter. And this reveals a really key part of the story. Impact isn't the same across the board. This quote from the paper just nails it. It says, the evidence overall points to UMS researchers having a considerable impact on the global scientific community, especially in the area of public health. There's just no doubt they're making a real difference.
You know, great research doesn't happen in a bubble. It's all about collaboration. And this map shows us that UMS has been incredibly busy building a global network. You can see these really dense connections, especially in their own backyard, which shows they've got this strong foundation of partnership. Let's put some numbers on that. Their top partner, by a landslide, is Malaysia, with 228 collaborations. I mean, that makes total sense, right? Close neighbors, cultural ties. But then you've got the UK and Iran in the top 3, which shows that even though their network is really strong regionally, its reach is definitely getting bigger.
Okay, so we've got the numbers, the growth rates, the collaboration networks. Now it's time to put it all together. What's the final diagnosis here? What does all this data really tell us about UMS's impact?
The story really has 2 sides. On one hand, you have UMS achieving some incredible global recognition. We're talking papers in world-famous journals like The Lancet. That is a massive deal. But on the other hand, a lot of their impact is still very regional, which suggests their influence hasn't quite gone fully global yet. And this table just makes that point crystal clear. Let's look at that top paper. It has over 5,800 global citations from researchers all over the world. That's an amazing number. But it only has 13 local citations from researchers inside Indonesia. That gives it a local to global citation ratio of just 0.22%. Now, this isn't a criticism at all, it's a diagnosis. It just shows that while the research is absolutely world-class, it's making bigger waves internationally than it is back home.
So what is the big takeaway from all of this? The data doesn't just show us the present. It gives us a blueprint for the future. The question now becomes, how does a university like UMS use its incredible regional strength to become a real global leader?
Well, the study suggests a pretty clear three-step strategy. First, broaden partnerships. Go beyond the immediate neighborhood and build new bridges to places like North America and Europe. Second, be strategic and target those high-impact journals, especially for fields that need a visibility boost. And third, encourage more work that crosses different disciplines to tackle those big, messy problems that the whole world cares about.
And that's really why this all matters, even if you're not at UMS. Their journey, using data to really understand their own strengths and see a clear path for growth, is a powerful model. It's basically a playbook for any regional school that has its sights set on the world stage.
Which brings us right back to where we started. This whole deep dive shows how data can light up the path forward, revealing strengths you didn't know you had and potentially you haven't tapped into yet. As more and more schools aim for global impact, you have to wonder, is this kind of analysis the master key to unlocking all that potential? Thanks for joining me.